So we got two things that was named. That's Ali. You said body autonomy, right? And then somebody said equal pay. Okay.
How about equity across the board? I mean, that's just right off the top of our heads, but when you really want to look at it, women are equality and equity are two different things. For the longest, men have been leading in like salary and rights and all sorts of things. We still don't have a female president. So I mean, that's enough in and of itself to talk about what we're still fighting for in the country. Like,
well, did you just say right?
Maybe have a good enough candidate to put up to win the election, ma'am. If you don't have a good enough candidate, you don't deserve to have a female president. So you mean to
tell me in all the years that we've had this presidential election, a woman has never been good enough? Come on. Really?
How many have ran? Ma'am, how many have ran?
That, but that's another problem in and of itself.
Well, then
it has nothing to do with qualifications.
If you're not in the race, you can't win the race.
Okay. So I'm going to let that rest there because we can go down that rabbit hole, but that's a bigger issue.
I mean, I did vote for Hillary, though.
But Brittany, you know, anyone can run for president, though. You can run for president.
And when you start peeling the onion and the layers that go along with that, then we're going to start uncovering a lot of other issues and why women have not ran.
But women have ran though. We now just
you want to make excuses.
Hold on, y'all.
Hold on. So we now have seen two women run for president to where they were on the presidential ballot. So what? I don't understand what do you mean by that?
You gotta look at.
Do you realize black men had that same issue? But guess what we end up doing? Guess what we end up doing? We kept going. Jesse Jackson tried. Obama ended up was successful in the situation. You got to keep pushing, ma'am. You named off one black woman that a supposedly black woman that tried, and that was the only one. So now it's oh well, shit, they don't like us. We gonna give up. Take your ball and run. You sound just like the woman did last night. Kamala didn't want to give her speech, but she's a quitter. She's not a fighter. I don't want. Let me finish, ma'am. I wouldn't want a woman like Kamala to be the president of the United States. She's not a fighter. She was giving up. She didn't want to come to her own alma mater and have the speech. Left them people there for over 6 hours waiting to hear her sorry ass, and she scattered off and sent that brother out there to give up a concession speech because her sorry tired ass didn't want to do anything. Why would I want a person like that to lead my country? I wouldn't. She's a quitter. I don't want a quitter as a president. I want somebody willing to fight for everything and all things America. And she's not ready for that just yet.
I just wanted to point out that she is not the first black woman to run for president. Shirley Chisholm was the first black woman to run for president. So we've had two, and Shirley Chisholm was fully black.
Right, so. and that was what, back in the 80s, the 90s?
I got a question.
When did the black woman time? So, but I'm just saying, it's a battle that's continuously trying. I'm not saying that
presidential ticket.
We're going to stop.
Was she the Democratic representative?
Who, Shirley Chisholm or Kamala?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Shirley Chisholm.
Yes. I believe she was the Democratic representative.
She didn't represent the Democrats for the president. No, she didn't. She was on the ticket to represent the Democrats. We have other minorities. Y'all had a good old holy for white woman last year. She couldn't win. I mean, when Trump first
in 1972, this.
Right. So
it was before a time, but like Brittany was saying, when you're running for president, there are many factors we have to take into account. It's not only are you interested, do you have the public's view, are you known, what have you done in the community, but also do you have the monetary backing, or at least people who are going to invest in you.
But
Kamala was in a place where she can get invested in. Obama was in a place where he could already be invested in. He was already a senator in Chicago. People already knew him. Shirley Chisholm didn't have that big of a backing. She only was able to go so far. So the next thing, I'm not saying that at this point it's just over with. I'm not crying because Kamala didn't win or Kamala didn't win. I expected that. I'm actually proud that she got as far as she did. It shows that America is getting a little bit better when it comes to having a minority and a woman in the office. I don't think it's something we should stop. I do think our next candidate should be maybe a better candidate, somebody who's not just thrown in there at the last minute, someone who has a full run so that we can really see what they represent. But there are more things that go into factor. Like Brittany wouldn't just be able to step up and run for president and actually be on the ballot, unless she had the backing. Like she said, it's layers.
That goes across the board for all people, though. That goes across the board.
I'm not saying it's just a woman thing. It goes across the board. That's why a lot of libertarians don't make it to the ballot. We don't even know them because they don't have the backing.
So, Ty, let me ask you this. Do you think that if there was a man as a vice president, they would have just automatically put him in there on the ticket to represent the Democrat? No. That's what they did for Kamala. They gave her a gift. She wasn't even good enough to win the Democratic representative when Biden was running against Trump. She wasn't even good enough. Didn't get not near one vote. Where was the sisters at the end? Where was the sisters at the end to try to get her up there to run against Trump? Y'all wasn't in there. Y'all didn't believe in her because y'all know she was a fraud. But guess what? Biden, like he said, I'm going to give a woman a call. He even got the wrong vice president. I don't think he should have got her. She was a trash-ass vice president. She didn't do shit then. So why do you think she was going to do anything if she going against Trump? It wasn't even, I knew he was going to win.
They'll vote for Hillary before they do her.
Biden had a better chance against Trump.
Can y'all tell me what Trump did in his presidency?
You said what, ma'am?
What did Trump fix in his presidency?
What did Trump fix?
What are some things that Trump has fixed in his presidency? Because Kamala didn't have a chance to be president, but Trump did. So what did he do while he was president?
The First Step Act, I think that released 30,000 black men.
He let go of a lot of black men from jail for misdemeanors.
What does that mean? Mm-hmm. That's really good.
And them same black men that Kamala locked up in California for the possession of marijuana. Yeah, that same law he passed.
And the same man that told this money. And the same man that told y'all that if you don't vote for him, y'all not black. That's who put all those people in jail. And Trump released
tax cut.
So I think another part of it as well, that I feel didn't sit right with me at least, was that when people were interviewing Kamala or Harris, when they would give her some pushback, The View, CNN, MSNBC, they're like, oh, why are they holding her to this standard? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And it's like, you're running for the president of the United States. This is the most powerful country in the world. If you can't handle some type of criticism and pushback, then you have no reasoning to be in that position. So I don't even think that we're fully ready for that, because the media, they're not even holding her accountable to be running for that role. That doesn't work like that.
What about Trump responses to these presidential debates? I feel like when you say something, it can relate to Trump too. So I'm waiting for you to say something that don't relate to Trump too.
They have been dragging Trump for the past 10 years. And just let's make this clear. I'm not some Trump fanboy. I just don't like what Biden and Harris has been doing for the past 4 years.
I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm not running for anybody. That's why I'm asking these questions. I'm not running. I'm gonna be honest with everybody on this. I didn't vote. This year I didn't vote because I didn't have enough information for me to make a conscious decision.
How did you not have enough information?
Arguments like what you say is like, I hear people say, "Oh, this about Trump," but then I look at Kamala and I'm like, "Wait, she doing it too." And then they're like, "Oh, well, Kamala doing this," and I'm like, I'm looking at Trump. I'm like, he's doing it too. He did all the ignorant stuff that you said she did. He pulled out all the antics. He goes on Twitter. He tweets his ass off. He goes on and I'm not doing the second presidential debate. This some bullshit. Da-da-da-da. Like Trump goes off more than anybody. I feel like he's very way more
did you watch
ignorant than Kamala.
the first presidential debate?
I seen most of it, and what they shown far as to the
Come
Democratic
on,
Party,
guys.
when they
Come
was
on,
asking
guys.
him questions, he wasn't answering them directly. He was like going when they was like, okay,
He
so what are
don't.
some of the policies you? He was like, well, I have some written up. Yeah, they're written up, and yeah, they're in place. Okay, well, what does those look like? Well, they're the policies that we went over, and it wasn't clear cut. And then when he
When
talked,
did
and
he say
then the
that?
way he handled people criticism about him, people criticized his debate, and the way he handled it to me was like a crying baby. Like, so
What?
I don't
Well, I'll
understand.
say
Y'all know he
so.
do it.
So,
Y'all act
Dave,
like Trump don't
You
troll.
got
So
all this
Trump not a
research on
troll.
Trump, but you had
hold
no
on a second.
research on
Hold,
No, he's
Kamala.
What
hold
do you
on,
mean?
Dave.
I already told you what I've seen about her. When I seen her do presidential, well, I didn't tell you this, but when I seen her do interviews, I do agree with that. When people would get on her and ask her hard questions, she'll get flustered. She'll like, she didn't know how to come back and maintain her composure when they was questioning her. It was things I saw wrong on both sides. So that's why I said when I'm asking Viz this, I'm not asking as a Democrat or somebody that's specifically for
But
Kamala, but what I've seen, a lot of the stuff that he's saying about her, I've seen Trump do. So it's like, if
but
that's
how
her reason, if that's your reasons for not wanting him to
Dad,
be
how can
president,
you
why is it different when a man do it?
let me
Dad, how
grab
You
this
can
say
you
you
knowledge.
say
didn't
that
vote
if
because
you
you didn't
Okay.
have
literally
the
just said you
information,
didn't
though.
watch it?
That's the reason why you say you didn't vote, right? You didn't vote because you didn't have the
I watched
information,
his
enough
response
information.
to the debates. That's what I watched. Viz.
But you
You was
didn't
talking about Kamala's response to when people criticism about her, and I went and Trump has the same response when people criticize him. So why use that as a reason when Trump do it too?